Hello everyone. Today I'd like to talk about planning processes and how you can, with an SAC application, simplify these processes. In general, what you do is inside the SAC calendar, you create some tasks for which you have assignees and reviewers. Assignees will work on the task and will submit their changes. Then reviewers will check what has been done and they will be able to approve or reject these changes. The good news is that Analytic Designer provides a rich API to work on the calendar tasks. So let's see how it works with a simple application. So I'm here in the SAP Analytics Cloud Calendar, and we can see that there is a task created here, which is called demo test. And if we have a look at the details, we can see that this is a composite task, which is right now in progress, and which has a start date here and a due date. Then if we go below, we can see that there is an owner of this task, which is my current user, and there is also an assignee, which is also my current user. We also assign a reviewer, and which is another user, which is this one. The last things to notice is attached to this composite task, there is a work file, which is called Calendar and Task Management. And this is basically an SAC application. So let's click on this application now. So what we are going to do is, as a planner, we are going to create a private version. And on this private version, we will increase the overall operating income to 10%, and then we will publish this private version as a public version. And finally, we will submit the task in order that the reviewer can check the changes. But first, let's see which kind of details I can have the current task with the Analytic Designer API. So first, I will display my console to see the result of my action. So let me click on the Get Task Type. So I can see that my current task is a composite task. This is a type of my task. And I can see that the current user can submit the task, but cannot approve the task, which is normal because my current user is an assignee, but not a reviewer. If I click on the Get Status, I have the status now of my current task, which is in progress. And if I click on the User Role button, I can see which role is assigned to my current user. And we can see that my current user is an assignee, and also my current user is the owner of the application. Next, I will create a private version, and the version is right now displaying the table here, and it's called forecast_private. And for this private version, I want an increase of 10%. So I can just click on my plan data. To understand how it works, you have to see one of my previous video where I explain how to do some data entry in a planning model. So I have the result here with my plus 10% increase. And so then I can publish this private version as a public version. And I can see the results. And finally, now I'm able and ready to submit my task. But before submitting the task, I want to get your attention on the fact that there is the calendar toolbar here at the top, where you can also submit the task or decline the task. But what I want to illustrate here is with Analytic Designer, you can, thanks to the API, submit the task without having to use this calendar toolbar. So let me click on this. And right now we can see the result of my submission, which is equal to true. So my task has been submitted and my reviewer is ready to check all the changes I have done. Now I take the role of the reviewer and I am logged to SAC as U_1 and U_1 user. And what I can notice is that there is a notification saying that your task demo test is now open. So it means I receive the task, the submission. So I can click on it to see what happened exactly in my application. I can see the result, I can display the results of the public version, the new public version. And I can see that the value is 125.20 for this operating income. So if I agree with these changes, I can then, as a reviewer, approve these changes. So I just click on approve here. And what I can see if I go here on the calendar toolbar, I can see the status, which is accomplished. So the task has been completely finished after this last step. So now let's see how to use the calendar task script API. So the first thing to do is to create a calendar integration component. And you can see the properties attached to this component. So you have the name and you can change the name. And you have an option to display or not the calendar toolbar at runtime. So in my case, I display it, but if you uncheck this option, then the toolbar will be hidden. Then the first thing we did is we click on the get task type. So let's see the code associated to that. And so basically what we do is we use the calendar integration component, and we use the getCurrentTask.getType method to have the type of task, which in my case was a composite task. And then also we check the user rights. And to do that, you again retrieve the current task as an object here. And then what you need to do is to cast this object as a calendar composite task. And on the object you retrieve from this cast, then you can use the two methods, the CanUserSubmit method and the CanUserApprove method. Then we click on the Get Status button. And it's a very simple code again. So we still use our calendar integration component and we retrieve the current task. And on the task object, we just ask for the status with the get status method. Then we click on the user role button. And in this case, we use again on the task object we retrieve here, the method has user role, which is waiting for a calendar role type. So here we pass the assignee role type, and if the current user is an assignee, then we go into the if condition here. And we do the same for the other role type, the owner role type, and the reviewer role type. Notice that on the task object, you can also apply other method. You can activate the task. You can get the description of the task. You can get the due date of the task, the ID, the name of the task, the progress of the task, the start date, and the three last method. We already saw this method basically. Finally, we submitted the task. And let's see the code associated. So again, we retrieve the current task, and then we need to cast this task object as a calendar composite task. And with the resulting object here, then we can submit the composite task here. And the same applies for the reviewers. This is the exact same code, except that in this case, we use the approve method to send back and to accomplish the task. In conclusion, we saw how to use the calendar task script API to create a simple application that simplifies the user experience of planners when they need to run complex planning workflows. The strength of Analytic Designer here is that it really helps you to provide a guided experience to your planners. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.